Hey there.
Hey, so we got a 26X here. I'm doing a quick video for those people that want to go with Yamaha, Tohatsu, Suzuki. I'm going to start with a Yamaha. It's a 26X and there's a 70 horsepower Yamaha on it right now.
Yeah, they call it an F70.
They call it an F70.
Wow.
There we go. Let's see. There we go. Tell me why you went with F70.
So I needed a new motor, and we wanted to upgrade. So the motor that came off was a 90, a Nissan NS90A, made by Tohatsu, and that was 300 pounds. So I wanted to find something that weighed that or less. So weight was the number one most important thing, and I wanted to be as big as it could. Now here in Washington State, you just can't buy two-cycle, two-stroke motors anymore. We're into enlightened for that. So I had to go from a two-stroke to a four-stroke, and that brought the weight issues. And looking at the different options, that's how I arrived on the F70, because it weighs 250 pounds, which is 50 pounds lighter than the 90 that it replaced. Of course, it is a step down from the 90 to the 70, but that 90, I think it was 1998, so I don't know how many of those 90 horses were still left in it. I did lose some speed, maybe 1 mile an hour. It wasn't significant though, losing the speed, but I did like, first of all, the weight difference going, getting in under my threshold there of 300 pounds, and going with a four-stroke. Holy cow! Is it quiet? Number one, and fuel economy it's a great savings in fuel economy. We had our epic adventure this year. We sailed the width of Washington State from Lewiston, Idaho to Astoria, Oregon. 132 miles of the Snake and 300 miles of the Columbia. And there were some stretches of the Columbia where we couldn't find gas. There was an 85-mile stretch between marinas that I couldn't get gas. So with the old Nissan on there, I'm thinking I'm only getting 2 to 3 miles per gallon, with that old beast. How are we going to, stretch? I know I've got big tanks. I've got two 12-gallon tanks, so that's a lot of gas. But still, I was very glad when we switched to the Yamaha for that fuel economy, to be able to make those long stretches without worrying about fuel at all. So.
All right, so we're gonna fire this thing up.
Yeah, let's make sure that it warms up before we head out. It's fuel injected, so nice. It goes. No choke, it just runs.
So I'm gonna get the sound level out, and then we're just gonna measure it a foot.
Yeah, it's idling right now at 950 RPM.
Okay, so let's hold it a foot from the outboard. And then let's see what the sound levels are on that. Let's see, what do we see? 60, 50, 59, 60, hovering there. Okay.
Depends if I'm talking or not.
I will say that sounds quieter than a Tohatsu right there, but I will do the sound levels on a Tohatsu.
So you notice that I do have the Raymarine multi-function display. I like it a lot, but it's quirky. I already had the Raymarine in order to run the autopilot, and in order to get that to work, I needed the GPS. So I do have the GPS antenna on the forward bulkhead of the head there. And I also have the transducer, for the depth. Right now we're at 22 feet on the depth, and so Raymarine is able to process all that with their own peripherals on that. But when I plugged it into the motor, even though the motor has a Yamaha motor, it's got a NEMA 2000 port on it, it wouldn't plug, or at least Raymarine did not want me to plug it directly in. So I had to go through a translator, and that was another $300 just to get the NEMA to talk to the Raymarine. But it is, and so I get the RPMs on the motor. The speed is coming off the GPS. I do have the volts. I like the gallons per hour. As here we're doing 5 miles an hour, 0.6. So you know that's almost 10. But my quick mathematical mind tells me that's almost like 10 miles per gallon, which I like a lot.
Boats on the motor's on neutral, correct?
Neutral.
Okay, so let's put it about a foot at neutral and just see how much this sounds right now. Looks like at neutral we're at about 58 to 60 noise decibels.
And it's idling at 750 RPM. Alright, so
we'll go to 2,000 RPM.
Alright, that's about 2,000.
What about can see that?
Okay, 3,000. Nope. We're going to do some speed tests here at the same RPMs, 1,000, 2,000, and how much further we can get it up, we'll see, and then do some noise tests at those same RPMs as before. So again, we're at idle here, and 700 RPMs. Let me get it up to 1,000. There's 1,000. 1,000 RPMs doing 3 miles an hour at 4/10 of a gallon fuel consumption. Okay, so 2,000. We have the center board up. We have the rudders up. The tank, the ballast tank is full though. Alright, we'll call it 2,000 RPMs, 5.6 miles an hour, 0.8 of a gallon per hour.
About 75 dB.
Alright, going up to 3,000. 3,000 RPMs, 7.4 miles per hour, 1.8 gallons per hour. Alright, going up to 4,000. gallons per hour. Okay, so you probably noticed that we only got up to 5,000 RPMs. The motor's rated 5,800, 6,000 RPMs, so the motor will certainly go faster, but it's not able to push the boat any faster because of the prop size. Now, prop size, boy, that's a fine art. That's a combination of art and science there, and it depends what you want to get out of your boat. So the number on the prop is an indication of how aggressive the angle of attack is against the water. And so how much water it's scooping. It's actually about how many inches the prop would travel in one rotation. So the higher the number means the farther it'll go. Higher the number also means the more aggressive the cut is into the water. So usually the advice is, if you want to try to meet your optimum, your highest RPMs, which is where the highest horsepower is at, then you have to drop the angle of the pitch. So when the boat came, it usually comes with a 15-inch pitch, and the dealer thought that, oh, that should be sufficient. Now, that didn't seem right to me, because the engine I took off at 90, it had an 11-inch pitch on it. So I still have that propeller, but the first time I took it out and ran it, I only got like 4,800 RPM, maybe 4,500 RPM, and my speed was down. So I took that back to the dealer, and he gave me this 15-inch, which, as you see, wide open throttle. It's reaching. It didn't today, but I have usually gotten it over 5,000 RPM, and as fast as 17 miles per hour with that one. Now, when I put on the 11-inch pitch, you'd seen, okay, so that's not as aggressive a bite into it. I only got slightly higher RPMs out of that. I got it up to like 5,200 RPMs with that propeller, and with really no appreciable gain in speed. Now, around here, it depends on the tide. You know, am I fighting the current? I'm not fighting the current. So there's a lot of variables that go into that as well. For me, I'm sticking with the 13-inch prop right now, which was the medium between the 15 and the 11. So it's got a little bit more bite, and that has a lot to do with performance at the lower RPMs. Since I don't do high speed very often, at the lower speed, the little bit more bite I get out of the 15-inch prop gets me better fuel economy than the 11 would, because the 11's got to spin more. The engine has to spin more to cover the same amount of ground with the 11-inch. So at the you know, at cruising, I don't want to say cruising speeds, but you know, if I'm doing sailing assist or, you know, 6 miles an hour or thereabouts, it seemed more advantageous to have the 13-inch prop than to have the 11.
Do you plan to try any more props, or?
I would love to try more props, especially the diameter, because again, the pitch is one thing that affects it. The second thing that affects it is the size. And if I could drop it down a 1/4 inch or even a 1/2 inch, I would like to try that. Unfortunately, I have a limited supply of money and a limited supply of goodwill on the part of the dealer for trying different propellers out there. So that's what's kind of limited me up to this point. But I think the next step on there, playing with the pitch and also playing with the diameter. And then, you know, the propellers do come. These are all 3-bladed propellers. There are 4-bladed propellers out there as well. I don't know anything about those, but so that's where I'm at.